Tonight, a story of power, money, and a digital rebellion. A battle is raging across the Atlantic, not with armies, but with billion-dollar regulations. The European Union has declared the Wild West era of the internet over, putting Silicon Valley on notice. The message from Brussels: play by our rules, or pay the price. This is more than a policy dispute. It's a challenge that could reshape the internet for everyone. The latest shots: Google hit with a record fine. X, formerly Twitter, penalized for failing new rules. These aren't isolated incidents. They're part of a calculated strategy to rein in big tech's unchecked power. For years, tech giants have influenced everything from news to elections. Now Europe says, enough. The question: can Europe succeed in reclaiming digital sovereignty? For decades, a handful of California companies wrote the rules. Now, Europe wants democratic institutions in charge. This digital declaration of independence is sending shockwaves from Brussels to Washington, D.C. The stakes: the future of free speech, competition, and innovation. Will these rules create a fairer internet, or stifle creativity and fragment the web? Tonight we go inside this high-stakes conflict, hearing from regulators, companies, and those caught in the middle. The answers will shape how we communicate, do business, and how democracies function. This is Europe's tech rebellion. The news landed like a bombshell in Silicon Valley. The European Commission announced a record-breaking fine against Google for abusing its dominance in digital advertising. This wasn't just a slap on the wrist, it targeted Google's core business model, the message. Self-regulation is dead. Simultaneously, X, Twitter, was fined for failing to comply with new EU rules on content moderation and transparency. The EU accused X of not doing enough to combat disinformation and illegal content. These actions show the new rules apply to all major players, not just the biggest. The focus holding platforms accountable for the content they host. These fines are the result of years of investigations and landmark legislation. The EU is now enforcing its laws with maximum impact. Beyond fines, the real power lies in the orders. Google must change its ad business. X must overhaul moderation. These are legal mandates, not suggestions. Failure to comply could mean even larger daily fines, or being shut out of the European market. The EU is no longer just writing tickets, it's rewriting the law of the land. The regulatory machine is at full speed. Tech giants are on notice. Comply or face the consequences. A new era of digital law enforcement has begun. What's behind this crackdown? Two powerful laws: the Digital Markets Act, DMA, and the Digital Services Act, DSA. Together, they're Europe's new constitution for the internet. The DMA targets gatekeepers, giants like Google, Meta, and Apple, forcing them to open up their platforms and stop favoring their own services. Users can now uninstall preloaded apps and expect fairer competition. The DSA, meanwhile, focuses on content and accountability. It requires platforms to tackle illegal content, offer transparent moderation, and give users more power to report and appeal. Algorithms must be open to scrutiny. The DMA tackles economic power. The DSA addresses societal impact. Both shift responsibility onto the platforms, ending the era of "we're just neutral intermediaries." With great power comes great responsibility. The age of move fast and break things is over. Now, it's comply or pay. Europe's digital rulebook is here, and it's changing everything. The world is watching. To understand the mindset, we spoke with those on the front lines. A senior EU official told us, "This isn't about punishing American companies. It's about upholding European law and protecting citizens. For too long, a few companies set the rules without democratic oversight. Now, Europe is applying law and fair competition to the digital world." Legal experts highlight the shift. The EU's approach is proactive, not reactive. Dr. Anja Richter, digital law professor, explains, "In the US, antitrust action comes after harm. The DMA prevents abuse before it happens. Regulators are now setting the rules before the game starts, with powers to investigate and demand algorithmic transparency. No company is above the law. Political pressure from Washington won't change that. Not everyone agrees. Tech industry lawyers warn the laws are broad and could stifle innovation. The DMA and DSA create a massive compliance burden, they argue, risking a less dynamic digital market. The debate: will these rules foster fair competition or create new obstacles? The EU insists it's about sovereignty and protecting the single market. Critics fear overregulation and fragmentation. The outcome will shape Europe's digital future. The world is watching to see if this bold experiment succeeds. The stakes are high for both regulators and the tech industry. The battle lines are drawn. The EU's regulatory storm stands in stark contrast to Washington's approach. While US lawmakers express concern about big tech, comprehensive legislation like the DMA and DSA hasn't passed. America's tradition favors free markets and minimal government interference, creating a deep philosophical divide. US officials argue the EU's laws unfairly target American companies, calling it digital protectionism. This has escalated into a major transatlantic trade dispute. Europe's regulatory approach isn't new, think GDPR, but it's now at a critical point. The US prioritizes free speech and hands-off policy, while Europe pushes for stricter oversight. Global platforms face a legal and ethical tightrope. Comply with Europe's rules, or uphold America's free speech standards. The Brussels effect means companies often adopt EU standards globally, making Europe a de facto global regulator. This gives the EU immense soft power. Washington worries the US is losing its leadership in shaping the internet's future. The world's two largest economies are now at odds over who writes the rules for the digital age. The outcome will define the global internet. The impact of these regulations is rippling across the digital economy. For tech giants, compliance means costly, fundamental changes to their products and business models. Google must give rivals a fair shot in ad tech. Apple must allow alternative app stores. For publishers and advertisers, there's hope for a more balanced ecosystem, and uncertainty about the transition. European publishers hope to reclaim control and revenue, but advertisers face a new, unpredictable landscape. Ad tools and data may change, making advertising less effective and more expensive, at least for now. Some fear breaking up tech giants' walled gardens could fragment the market and hurt small businesses. Tech firms are fighting back, appealing fines, challenging gatekeeper designations, and implementing changes in ways that critics say are deliberately difficult. New fees, confusing interfaces, and legal battles are all part of the pushback. The stage is set for a long, contentious fight over compliance. The outcome will reshape the digital marketplace. The battle is just beginning. The DMA promises to boost competition and help smaller companies thrive. By forcing gatekeepers to open up, startups could finally compete on a level playing field. Entrepreneurs see the DMA as a shield against big tech's predatory tactics. The law aims to stop giants from copying, crushing, or cutting off rivals. This could foster a more vibrant European tech ecosystem. But there's a catch: compliance is complex and costly, even for smaller firms. New rules on moderation, transparency, and data handling can be daunting for startups. Critics worry the regulatory burden could become a barrier to entry. The debate is the EU empowering challengers or just creating new obstacles. The dream is a new generation of European tech champions. The risk, only the biggest companies can afford to play. For millions of Europeans, these changes are becoming visible in daily life. Setting up a new phone, now you choose your default browser or search engine, thanks to the DMA. Social media feeds are more transparent. You can see why content is recommended, turn off personalization, and appeal takedowns. The DSA bans targeted ads based on sensitive data and prohibits targeting minors. Expect more granular consent banners and more control over your data. The goal: demystify algorithms and give users real agency. The result: a more deliberate, less seamless online experience with moments of friction and choice. The philosophy: a little friction is worth greater privacy and control. Will users embrace this power or revert to old habits? The future of digital life in Europe is being rewritten, one click at a time. As the dust settles, the story is far from over. We're entering a new phase: enforcement, appeals, and adaptation. Tech giants will challenge decisions in court, while regulators monitor compliance for loopholes and bad faith. The next wave: more investigations into Apple, Meta, Amazon, and others. Each decision sets a precedent, defining Europe's digital economy. Will regulators stay aggressive or compromise under pressure? The risk: a fragmented splinter net with different rules in every region. Other countries, India, Brazil, Japan, are watching, considering their own regulations. If they follow Europe's lead, global tech could be transformed. The future of digital governance is being forged in this conflict. The debate: seamless but opaque services, or open and regulated platforms. Europe's gamble will define the digital world for generations. The world is watching to see who wins.